the Mueller front, and I should say affront to the Constitution, Rudy Giuliani was on Fox and Friends this morning, and he had an interesting tidbit here. Cut one, go.
Should be a big week.
Should be. I hope so.
I think this is the week, I think.
All right.
Really?
For what? I think he'll give us a decision this week on our counterproposal. We're coming down to his looking really bad by interfering in the election, and I think he's got to get it over with by the beginning or early September.
Well, I hope so, but that's not necessarily the case at all. Mueller doesn't play by the rules, neither does Rosenstein. So we shall see. And it's quite possible that a subpoena will issue, that Mueller will get a subpoena from a judge, or who knows. And then we're off to the races into the courts. It's quite possible that Mueller will push this. You know, I've said it before, but when I was on with Hannity last week, I said that Robert Mueller is a greater danger to this country than Vladimir Putin when it comes to the campaign and comes to the Constitution and so forth. And so basically they cut it off, that I said, all the media, that Mueller is a greater danger to the country than Vladimir Putin. Now, I'm no fan of Vladimir Putin, as all of you know. I've never been a Code Pink Republican. But in terms of our constitutional order, forget about the military. In terms of our constitutional order, Vladimir Putin doesn't present any threat. He can't. What's he going to do? Again, forget about the military side of this. Yet Robert Mueller is prepared to take a shredding machine to our Constitution, just as Rosenstein has, just as these FBI guys like Stroke did. We'll get to him. There's nothing new to report on him, but we'll get to him. This is important to remember. The president has an obligation to over 60 million people who voted for him, for our electoral process, our Constitution, separation of powers, and the office of the presidency, to fight Mueller, to fight him. Now, I understand the Praetorian Guard media, which pretends it's under attack, that is the free press, has this all twisted in a knot, has it all turned upside down. The media in Wonderland has done that. That it's the president threatening the Constitution. He's not threatening the Constitution in the least. They want to overturn an election. They want to remove him from office. They want to disenfranchise over 60 million people. And they do not want anyone to get into the way of their agenda. The president has a responsibility to fight that, to fight them, and to fight efforts through one unelected, unaccountable prosecutor to reverse the Constitution, the election, by violating the Constitution. I'll be right back. Giuliani on Fox and Friends. Cut one, please, go.
Should be a big week.
Should be. I hope so.
I think this is the week, I think.
All right.
Really?
For what?
I think he'll give us a decision this week on our counterproposal. We're coming down to his looking really bad by interfering in the election, and I think he's got to get it over with by the beginning or early September.
But he's an arrogant guy, and I don't think he is concerned about any timetable, an election, let alone the Constitution. Then there's this piece in the Wall Street Journal. President Trump's lawyers believe they can weather a negative report from special counsel Robert Mueller and are prepared to rebut the conclusions, Giuliani, one of Mr. Trump's attorneys, said in an interview. Mr. Giuliani said the president is open to talking to Mr. Mueller under limited conditions. But in a new development, said Mr. Trump wouldn't sit for an interview after September 1 because that could interfere with the midterm elections. Last week, the president's lawyers sent Mr. Mueller a proposal indicating Mr. Trump would take questions about collusion with Russia in the 2016 elections, but not about obstruction of justice after he took office. Obstruction questions, his lawyers worry, could become a trap for perjury accusations. And not only that, it's a presidential prerogative for him to fire whomever he wants. And there should be no questions about that among the rest of it. I think we made the offer we can live with, Giuliani said. Mr. Mueller's office didn't comment. We certainly won't do an interview after September 1. You heard that. And who knows what's going to take place. I know what should take place. They ought to duke it out with this guy. The Constitution's on the president's side. Whether the courts wind up there, I don't know. But the Constitution definitely is. And I've said many times, there's an opportunity to really lay open what Mueller has done, what they relied on, the actual collusion and conspiracies that took place. And I want Mr. Mueller to know something. I want his band of merry left-wing kook Democrats to know something, too. There was money paid. I know this. There was money paid. It was laundered through 1 to really 3 individuals or entities that was used to coordinate with the Russians, Mr. Producer. Have I ever told you this? There was money paid by Hillary Clinton's campaign and the DNC. So while he's looking under rocks, I just want Mr. Mueller to know there was campaign money used to entice, to involve Russians in our campaign. And it came from Hillary Clinton and the DNC, a.k.a. the Democrats through their Democrat law firm, their Democrat lawyer, this guy Elias, to Fusion GPS, to a foreign former spy, to Russians. I want him to know this, because I know he's looking. He's questioning a madam in New York. He's had hundreds and hundreds of witnesses. I'm sure he's talked to Hillary Clinton about this. I'm sure he's talked to her campaign manager about this. I'm sure he's talked to the DNC and the former chairs of the DNC about this, because Mueller wants to know who interfered in the election. And the Democrats want to know, too. They've lectured us over and over again about how bad it is for the Russians to interfere with our election, which I agree with, by the way. And so the evidence that's been revealed thus far, not by Mr. Mueller and his happy band of left-wing kook Democrats, but no, by committees of Congress, by FOIA litigation and so forth, is that there was collusion and conspiracy by the Democrats with the Russians. Just pointing that out. It's true, you know. All right. By the way, you know, there were more media types in Charlottesville covering this supposed protest by these white supremacist knuckleheads than there were white supremacists. Apparently there was like 20 of them, or 25, or 21, or whatever the number is. And the Antifa Marxist left went nuts, started attacking the cops. Kenny, New Orleans, Louisiana, Mark Levin app, ML, go.
Mark, to your knowledge, has any federal prosecutor ever served time in jail for prosecutorial misconduct, like that guy at Duke Lacrosse? Didn't that prosecutor spend 1 day in jail for that unbelievable...
Honestly, I haven't done a lick of investigation into this, but I believe some have, actually.
Oh, well, that's great news.
But,
hey, Mark.
but, hold on now. But they are very few and far between. You're exactly right.
And what does that tell us?
And some of them have lost their law degrees. And you know, they went after Ted Stevens, senator from Alaska. We've talked about that in the past, out of the public integrity so-called division of the criminal division of the Justice Department. And they withheld exculpatory evidence.
No penalty.
Okay, can I finish the story?
I'm sorry.
And they withheld exculpatory evidence. And the judge eventually was made aware of this. Judge Emmett Sullivan has been around forever in the D.C. Circuit, but he's a district court judge. And they were punished. One of the gentlemen committed suicide. One of the prosecutors, who was relatively young, he was in his 40s. And others had their careers, frankly, rightly destroyed. So there can be consequences, yes.
Well, thank you, Mark, and thanks for taking my phone call.
All right, buddy, you take care. But you got a guy like Weissman, Andrew Weissman, who is Mueller's right-hand man who is a disgrace. He's been admonished by judges in the past. He's a big Hillary seal clapper. And for Mueller to hire him just shows you what a clown Mueller is. How dangerous this man is to the Constitution and the Republic. I'll be right back. All right, let's go to Chris, Lafayette, California, the great KSFO. Go.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for taking my call. It's an honor.
Right on.
Peter Strzok, a man who should have been fired many, many moons ago. Obviously,
Who?
My question, Peter Strzok. Who should have been fired long, long ago. My question to you is, do you believe that now that he has officially been fired, that the Mueller probe, that is like a possibility that it will end quicker because of this new development? Do you think that?
I don't think one has anything to do with the other. No. I don't think Mueller's sitting around and saying, geez, if they fire Strzok, I better hurry up and finish my case. Such as it is. Why would one be connected to the other?
Well, I just thought maybe Mueller would say Comey fired, McCabe fired, Strzok fired, this whole cabal kind of, it's kind of all these people are now at least facing some sort of consequence that he might say, hey, Peter Strzok was one of the lead investigators on my team as well. Maybe I should, I'm just hoping that, Ron.
I just don't see him anywhere near that. I see a guy who would say, well, Strzok started it, but we got rid of him. And now we continue to do it. I just don't see any connection with any of this.
I was just hoping that maybe...
Stop hoping. This is a brass-knuckle battle. And the fact that Strzok is fired has absolutely nothing to do with what Mueller wants to do or his motivation or his attitude. Mueller wants to take down a sitting president. Why would he stop now? Because Strzok's fired.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, thanks for taking my question. And
all right, buddy. What's that?
University. Yeah, thank you.
I didn't hear you. You're what?
I said I'm a proud student at Liberty University. I'm going to be heading there this fall.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. I for some reason, I think president of that university, I knew his father well. He was a very, very good man, and we were quite friendly. Doesn't like me for some reason. I don't know why. All right, my friend. Thank you for your call. It doesn't matter. Some people like me, some people don't.